Jasmine is the founder and CEO of Gracemade Apparel. Gracemade Apparel, from what we've seen so far, is modest apparel. And I know modesty is a very vague term, right? I mean, you could have rules about the hem reaching your ankles or making sure absolutely no part of your body, the shape of your body, is shown. Jasmine, we would love to hear your testimony of how you came to start Gracemade, why you started it, and your take on modesty.
Oh, there I am. Can you guys see me okay?
We see you.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you guys tonight and to share a little bit about my story and how I started Gracemade. Sorry, I'm just getting myself situated here. So before I started Gracemade, I was working in the fashion industry. I was a sales manager for a clothing company here in LA. And to be honest, I had a great job. I was able to travel all over the world and attend different fashion weeks and really get my footing in the industry. But while I was there, I wouldn't call myself a Christian. I did grow up in a Christian home and all of that, but I went to college, kind of fell off and was doing my own thing. So I was indulging in all the things of the world and indulging in all the things that the fashion industry had to offer. At the same time, I was dressing really revealingly, and my motives were wrong. I was dressing revealingly because I wanted attention. I wanted deep down inside, I wanted love. And I thought that if I showed attention and used my body to get that attention, that I would, find the man of my dreams and be fulfilled. But that kind of attention just got me the wrong kind. And I was left feeling really empty and broken and dirty at the end of the day. And I remember I had just came to the end of myself one day, and it ended with a bad relationship, which was a result of that bad kind of attention. And I remember just praying to God and asking, telling him, like, I've been doing things my way, and obviously my way is not working for me. So I want to do things your way. I just cried out to him in that moment, and he began to change my life. That sanctification process began to happen. And, just the renewing of my mind, my perspective started to shift on a lot of different things. And I remember one day I was like going through my clothes, and God had been ministering to me about identity and worth and purpose. And I just started feeling that God-sized void being filled by him, and by him showing me who I am in him. And I remember the Holy Spirit just telling me, and I could hear it so clearly, get rid of all of your revealing clothes. And at first I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. There was a little hesitation because when you work in the industry, you tend to get a lot of free stuff, a lot of cool pieces, and had accumulated a lot of nice things, but that weren't God honoring, and it wasn't honoring to myself either. And so eventually I just did it because, when the Holy Spirit impresses something on your heart, it'll feel so impactful until you actually step out in obedience and follow it. So I got rid of those clothes. And at the same time, even before all of this happened, and while I was working, I always had this vision of owning my own company, and God began to change what that would look like. So he began to download ideas into me about starting this modest clothing line. And when I say modest, the Bible talks about modesty, but it doesn't necessarily talk about rules of how long something should be or how short something should be. And different cultures look at modesty in different ways, but the way that God was showing me was, instead of looking at it from a legalistic perspective, was what kind of message is this sending, and what are the true intentions of your heart? And so he began downloading these ideas into me, and I started writing them down in a journal. I remember it was around 2014. So I wrote down what this would look like. And I wrote down how it would be a faith-driven perspective, and not only in the area of modesty, but as Jessica was saying, including that ethical production. And because, as a faith-driven concept, faith encompasses all of those things. And then also including giving back into our business model as well. So I wrote down all those things. And at the same time, I was still working at the job that I was at, but things just began to get really uncomfortable. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced when God is trying to take you to a new season or move you to a new place, it starts to get kind of uncomfortable and things don't feel the same. I wasn't feeling comfortable in that environment anymore. And I was just getting panic attacks, and I just felt like, you know, it was probably time to step out and do these things that God was showing me. And so eventually I took the leap. I quit my job and I decided to start Gracemade. And literally everything that I wrote down in my journal in 2014 has come to pass. And it's just been such a joy and a miracle to just see all these things that God was downloading into me come into fruition. And one thing that I was really set on too was just creating this line that wasn't exclusive for Christians, but was something that would be somewhat of a ministry. So even down to, you know, we do a lot of cut and sew pieces. We also do shirts and that kind of thing. But we do little subtle things. So like on the tag, it talks about identity and all these things. And so to this day, I think most of our customers are not even Christian, but we're still able to get this message out, and we're still able to sit in these secular spaces and retail stores that are, you know, not Christian bookstores or your typical, you know, Christian space, and have this messaging. And so, yeah, that's how I started Gracemade. September 16th will make it 4 years now. And so I'm just super grateful to be doing this and so excited to be here to share a little bit more about my story.